Hello, today we're in Hexham Delivery Office in Northumberland and we're going to meet the local representative Martin and the workplace coach Abby to discuss the EP Group Takeover and how the trials have been going in Hexham Delivery Office and other topics that are relevant. So we'll see you soon. Hello colleagues, my name is Mark Hugel. I'm the branch secretary for Newcastle and Marl, and today we're at the trial site in Northumberland, Hexham Delivery Office, and we're going to touch on some topics of the EP Group Takeover, and we're also going to touch on the USO trials and how they've been going in Hexham Delivery Office for everybody to try and get a better understanding on the topic of USO and where the business could be heading in the future for growth. So, to my right I have a colleague here who is the local representative, Martin Hardy. He's been very hands-on with the trials, working with management and the planners to get things in place, and we're going to hear a bit more in depth from Martin on that. And my colleague to the right is Abby, the workplace coach, who has obviously been instrumental in developing the training and coaching certainly new entrants, and we'll touch on that as well. So Martin, the first question I'll put to you, the EP Group, what's the feeling with the takeover from our colleagues on the floor? Is there any optimism about the takeover? With the new board resigning, we have a sole owner now, so what's people's thoughts and your opinions on the takeover?
To be honest, the staff are mainly waiting on the negotiation happening on pay. That's the feeling on the floor. They're wanting the pay deal sorted out. As for the board resigning, yes, they're looking at that as in a positive way, because the way things have been going up to now hasn't been very good. That's a general feeling on the floor. Apart from that, you know, people are really concentrating on the pilot that we're doing at the minute. You know, it's kind of taking a back seat, if we're honest, to what's going on. Yeah. There's a lot going on at the same time. So it's just communicating with the staff on the floor, keeping them up to date with what's going on, you know. That's all we can really say on the takeover, isn't it?
Well, Abby, I'll ask you, do you think that this takeover and Daniel Krasinski's new board of directors, they're meeting next week on the 9th of June, I believe is their first meeting, possibly the 10th. Do you think this is an opportunity for the new owner of the EP Group to reset the culture in the workplace? And do you think this is the first part of that is possibly pay and new entrants, bringing them up to the levels that we're at so we can obviously do the same job and get the same pay? Do you think that's really important? He's got a sort of a big opportunity here to reset the balance of things. What do you think? Absolutely.
I mean, anything that's starting new and someone new coming in is always an opportunity to do something different. Hopefully they are approaching it in that way and seeing it as a way to make some positive change, but also reassure people that what's going to happen is going to be in their interest. Like Marty said, that's the main thing for the people here is the pay and how that's going to be sorted out, how quickly it's going to be resolved. And the union have been really good in informing us what is going on. All the updates, we've been getting them in real time, so we're just waiting really on that. But with new entrants and stuff, I think there's been a bit of disparity this past year with contracts and things, so I think getting that sorted out as well and making sure, again, that's one of the reasons everyone here, I think, you know, has stayed working for Royal Mail, is that they are fair across the board to everyone. And the union have made sure that that's the case. So moving forward, we want to keep that going and make sure that anyone that's coming in or anyone that's being moved from part-time to full-time are getting the same as everyone else is. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Abby says there, Martin. I mean, with you being the representative and you doing the organising and recruitment of the new entrants, I mean, can you tell us what the attrition rates have been like, new starters coming in? I mean, have people been leaving basically because
they've been in and out. It's been an absolute nightmare. I mean, they're doing the same job as everybody else. then they're finding out they're on a different contract altogether. It's a bit disparaging for them, you know. The attrition in here has been absolutely shocking, to be honest. You know, there's no ifs or buts about it. That has been an issue.
Yeah. See, when you come into Royal Mail, you come in, certainly when I did, it was a job for life. You had the same terms and conditions, you had a good pension, you got your uniform, and that was basically you. And I know there's a lot of people down there give the better part of their working lives 20, 30, 40 years. I have to say, I mean, the difference now is if you come in and you find out what's going on and you're on inferior terms and conditions, you kind of think this might just be a stopgap job, and then you kind of move on to an employer that's paying well above the minimum wage, and you're getting your paid meal reliefs. I mean, it's so important. Wouldn't you agree that these are the first things that need to be tackled in the pay deal?
Definitely, straight away. Equalise it. They're doing the same job as everybody else, you know. Sometimes harder workers coming in.
Yeah. So in regards to the last thing on the takeover is the strategy for growth. I mean, obviously he comes in and he has to grow the market share. He has to get the parcels market share. Now the guy who's taken over, Daniel Krasinski, he's got different businesses. He's got Sainsbury's, he's got Argos, and he has a real opportunity to tap into them types of retail places that could supplement things in Royal Mail. So I know already he's got the ASOS deal contract, and that's a big contract. I mean, are you seeing that here at Hexham? Is there an increase in traffic because of this, or how's it going in terms of the new contract and the pressure that maybe is the growth pressures that you're experiencing?
Yeah, I mean, the parcels of late have gone through the roof, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, but this new system that we've got in, we're seeing more mail anyways. You know, so is it the new system bedding in? Is it the new contracts that he's getting? I can't tell you at this moment in time, if I'm totally honest. You know,
We've only been doing it, a few weeks?
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell what's been causing what.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been in the past month, since before we started the trial, but during it as well, these last few weeks, there's been an increase in parcels for sure.
Without a shadow of a doubt. With me being the secretary, I get to speak to a lot of representatives on a daily basis in the branch, and the increase in traffic volumes is pretty unexplainable, to be fair with it. I think they need to try and work this out, and hopefully nationally with Martin, Tony Bush, they'll get an understanding for these types of growth. Is it a freak growth period, or is it actually a sustainable one that maybe resets the balance on planning values and things like that? And it all needs to be worked out, because people are experiencing it. It's good for business, but if you haven't got the time and you're under pressure, it's not good for the staff in terms of that. So we'll have to wait and see what comes out.
I mean, traditionally this time of year we should be going into the quieter period.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that as yet, especially not yet. I'm not seeing it yet. So is there a change? I can't give the answers to that, unfortunately.
Well, that's the EP group sort of discussion that we've touched on, which has been very good. I think now we'll probably just move on to maybe the USO and get a bit more depth feeling about how it's been going in Hexham, the pluses and negatives, and more importantly, the solutions. I know it's been in a few weeks, but alternatively, we need to see what the pluses are, where the problems have been, Martin, and what solutions you've come up with the planner and the management to obviously find a resolution to everything that's possibly been the crux of the matter. So can you maybe touch on that, Martin?
I'll be totally honest. At the very beginning of this USO pilot, very apprehensive. Before it started, what's going to happen here? But we've went into it with an open mind. We've got into the room, discussed what the aim of it was, asked to implement it. So we've got to work. And to be fair, at Hexham, it's been a team effort. The staff have been on board. We've communicated to them all the way through, every step of the way. The good, the bad and ugly, by the way. You know, it's been transparent as anything, all the way through. Getting the information to the staff, how stuff's going to work, how is it going to affect the work-life balance with these new rotations. So the key at the beginning was getting the information to the staff on the rotations, what each rotation has pros and cons. We got them listed up on the boards in the room. People were available to go and have a look at any time they wanted to have a look at all the information, ask questions away. When we got the questions, we got the answers for them straight away. You know, settle their minds to what's coming. And the staff's been great. The staff has been on board all the way through. The team that's been involved in the planning has been great. And it went in smoothly. Day one, went in, it was this is a new thing. Every week, we're spotting issues. But we're not just coming up with issues, we're finding solutions and then going into the room. We've got the area rep in the room, the divisional reps being involved at points. So on a Tuesday every week we've been having meetings. In them meetings we've came up with problems we've found, came up with solutions, and then implemented these solutions straight away. And the planners have been great. It's been a real team experience in here. Abby training people up on the new ways. Managers have been on board, trying to get Hexham to the right place for this USO to go in.
Yeah. So, Abby, in terms of the training and how important your role has been in the office for our colleagues, can you maybe touch on what kind of training you've been helping the USO trial with to change people's mindset who maybe aren't grasping the non-core and stuff?
I think to begin with it seemed a bit overwhelming and complicated. Everyone's used to doing the same thing every day, just doing their duty and sticking to that. So coming in with this alternating, only taking second class mail out on certain days and then figuring out how that affects the other day of the week and what you're going to be alternating with. In this office it's only, because we're quite rural, they haven't been as affected. So I think with them there was minimal training needed, just some of the different systems on the PDA. Which for some people is quite tricky to come up to even manage that every day, using a new system. But we're getting there now, getting towards people being able to do it, in a reasonable time in the morning and still get out and do their duty. But for the half of the office where the week looks completely different, and we've had these new, rather than two people going out in a van and stuff, people changing what they're doing each day. It's been a bit harder, and people have had a lot of questions. Luckily we've had the information to give them and been able to answer them, and when we haven't, we've been able to go to the planners and we've had that communication going on with them. But people have understood that it's a trial as well, and that actually things are changing quite rapidly even as we're in it and starting it. So the training's still ongoing, as it were. Training outside has been quite tricky, I think. The amount of time that people have been given to learn new duties and learn routes hasn't been as high as people might have wanted. And I think that's still an ongoing issue, and as things are changing and these routes are changing again, people are still a bit concerned about that and being under pressure to still finish on their time, even when they don't know what they're doing, not being given a bit of grace there. So yeah, that's a part of the training that we haven't really got the resources to do as much as we want to do. But in terms of the indoor training, people pick stuff up really quickly. Once we knew what we were doing and we could explain it to them, people did good. They know what they're doing. They're good at their jobs. So it's just telling them, actually, this is the way we're doing it now. It's not changing what their job is. They're still doing the same thing. It's just in a different way.
Excellent. So in terms of the detail, I mean, there's a lot of colleagues around the country who are waiting for this to hit their office, if you like. Martin, can you tell what colleagues downstairs went for in terms of the duty structure, patterns, days off, and maybe how you have managed to achieve those duty patterns, as all officers are different. Like Abby said, this is a rural office, and you know, it's not one size fits all. That's why we've got a lot of trials going on, so we can understand maybe which officers suit best which trial. So if you want to touch on that, please, Martin.
Yeah, so originally we were 1 in 6. I think we from the 7, was there 7? It was 7.
It was a lot, yeah.
7, it was a lot of options at the beginning. Obviously being a pilot site, we were given all the options. More detail of them options were given to her. And I think we whittled it down to, was it 3 we went to?
There was quite a lot that just nobody wanted, and it was appropriate.
Yeah, there was going to be long, you know, the 4-day weeks, it was going to be, the days were just going to be ridiculous, weren't they? The length, the spans would have been crazy. So we whittled it down to 3, put it down to a vote, and it was a overwhelming vote for, it was about 75% went for the 2 and 6. So I think what appealed to people going for the 2 and 6 was obviously the hours to what we're currently doing. I think it was about 15 minutes longer.
15, yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes longer. But also that extra, it was the extra Saturday, wasn't it? So when you came to your Friday, you got the Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So, and then the following week you would get your Saturday and the Monday off. So it was essentially 2-3 day weekends in a row. That's what kind of appealed to people, with the hours being very similar to what they're doing now. And again, it was just communicating all the pros and cons to people, you know, and the choice was down to them between them 3, and it was an overwhelming vote for.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, part of being part of the union is you get a democratic say in everything that we do, and it's so important to be part of the union, especially now more so than ever, to obviously voice your opinions and have that interaction. So it worked well, I believe, in terms of the process, the planning. Then obviously you just had to hit the ground running, and you spoke about solutions there. I mean, what areas do you think, Martin, were like pinching at the focus groups that were set up? Was the residential an issue? Was it really a rural duty, not a residential? Was it the call rates on a Monday, do you think, the percentage of call rates where the non-core sits in the frames and gets all delivered on the Monday with the door-to-doors? And how did you overcome them issues in regards to people who maybe were struggling? Did you manage to put in any solutions such as pressure duties and things like that?
So when they initially went in, the core duties, what we found, you know, we obviously went in with a lot of assumptions. There were a lot of assumptions. We're a pilot office, so a lot of assumptions were made. When it was implemented, we realised quite quickly that the call rates were considerably a lot more than what they used to be, wasn't they? It was quite eye-opening, to be honest. Obviously, the first day they went out and delivered. Fair play to the guys who went out, but the times, the duration, outdoor spans were just ridiculous, you know. We spotted that very quickly and came up with solutions quite quickly. Look, we need to reduce them. We'd also involved a rural duty in to see how that would work. Now, the problem with that rural duty was the back end, the farms, having higher farm call rates. You know, normally, the old system, you'd be missing out farms, a good few farms. That's where you would save your time. But the new system, these farms, you just couldn't possibly do it. You're going to every farm every day, up every track. Yeah. So what the solution was to remove that from being in scope, move it out to a rural. Pink Day goes out every day. Put a duty in the place of it that essentially snaked through the deliveries that were there to take away from them duties that were over. We've been tweaking that each week to finally get it where all of the duties involved are more or less the same span, and we're getting pretty close. And you know, while we've been tweaking, the staff have seeing that things are getting done, so that's brought them along. I mean, how many times in the past things get put in and they're just left, you know? So, you know, we're definitely getting results and we're seeing a change. We are seeing a change in the way that things are getting done. Solutions are being found and are being implemented straight away. And hopefully that can happen in all the other offices if and when it rolls out or whatever they decide.
Yeah, great. So, Abby, we've been a workplace coach. Has anybody you've been training on the new systems and the new ways of working in terms of the trial? What about fatigue? Has anybody come to you to say that the fatigue's been a problem? Has it increased or has it reduced with the new times and stuff? Have you had any of that come through yet?
I think generally everyone's very glad for the extra weekend. In terms of having a bit more work-life balance, everyone's really positive about that. In terms of day-to-day, while we're still figuring out these new duties and where there needs to be more duties put in, I think people are pretty tired. They're doing working long days and taking a lot of stuff out with them. Not taking second class meal every day means that you do have more meal on the days that you are, and you know everyone they get called doublers and treblers and things like that, and that's being mentioned a lot. And I think people are worried that that's how it's going to continue. Hopefully, with putting these new duties in, that'll be not too long before they are actually in place and ready to go. That'll have a big impact and help those people out. But I do think that the alternating days was to give people a chance to maybe do like the full duty one day and then just be doing the parcels in the first class the next, and changing between that, not always doing like the full duty cause. So at the moment, while people are still being trained, there are a few people who are doing a core every day, and that's what's been tiring them. They're coming to a frame that's full every morning. So, you know, I don't think that will continue once we've got these new duties in. That's going to change, but people are still to see the results of being promised an easier workload.
I think it's just a case of we're trying to get some stability to these new deliveries, isn't it? You know, duty knowledge before going into this pilot. What would have been great if we could have got that training a lot to a better stage before it was being implemented, you know, so then it would put in a better state now. But like Abby says, the cores and the combines, to address the fatigue, you could alternate, so you do a week of core, the following week you do the combis, then back onto core. So you're essentially having a week of delivering and then a week of just doing the parcels. That is an option.
And I think in the groups that we had set up, when everyone was assigned a duty, people were pleased with, like, the people that had been put with. They knew that they could do that and move around, but because not everyone knows all the duties they've been assigned yet, they haven't been in those pods and groups yet.
And not able to switch about.
So once we get to that stage and we are actually, everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing on paper, and we're not having to move people around every day, then, you know, it could work really well.
Yeah, that's it.
So there's a lot of talk around the country, the trial sites, about the morning prep and the additional non-core that sits around waiting to be prepped for the day it's due to be delivered. Now, that's important to obviously get people out on time. So was there a solution in terms of maybe identifying an increasing contract for part-timers to come in early and prep, or was it overtime? Because I do hear that where there is a stumbling block for part-timers that don't want the increase and overtime is being supplied, it may be that night shifts in delivery offices are more of a permanent solution. So you've got night shifts from 12 o'clock working through to prep this meal that's sitting there, as we used to say, collecting dust. You might as well get somebody in and get it sorted, ready for people in the morning. I mean, has that been an issue, your prep? Have you had people increase the hourage, or have you had to put in extra overtime?
Yeah, so that what we're finding, we're kind of, yes, so the core duties have a lot more prep to do. The time, it does take a lot more indoor time. So what we've done is we've being able to advance them, getting their meal prepped before they're coming in, you know, because we've got people start at staggered times, so they're advancing their prep. But what we are finding is the combined duties, the parcels, we've got them currently at part-time. Now, we've asked to increase the hours because the indoor time just takes so much to do. And put it into the PDA, coming up with a route, loading the van. There's just not enough hours there for them to do it. So this is what we're sorting through at the minute, and I'm hoping we're going to have a solution to get that sorted out.
Brilliant. So, is there any other issues that you think needs to be sort of thrown out across the office? Are they engaging more so on these issues, such as are the issues coming through every day, every week? Are you finding there's new issues that's coming, or do you think after the weeks that you've been in the trail, the issues are starting to slow down, and you're getting to the root of them, and you know what they are now? You don't foresee any more new issues coming through?
That's exactly the point we're at. That's exactly where we're at.
Yeah.
I think we've found the major issues, we've addressed them, we've got solutions, we're just working through getting them into place to hopefully get to an end state, you know, the end job.
I think the only thing I've heard people mention in terms of future issues is Christmas.
Yeah.
The levels of stuff we're seeing at the moment is enough to fill people's time. We're not dragging our feet. We're working really hard to get finished on our time, and you know, it's May going into June, the summer. It should be quiet, so people are worried if come October time that it's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
So the peak period for the business in this trail site is going to be challenging. It's another piece of work. Do you think?
I would say so, without a doubt. I can't see any other. There's going to have to be something. I don't know what that'll be, but I'm sure if people get their heads together, they'll be able to sort something out.
Yeah, well, a lot of the customers will post second-class Christmas cards, won't they? You know, I don't know what the solution is to that, but you can see where it's heading, and that's something that we need to keep an eye on.
Definitely.
And there could be trail sites, not trail sites. The trail sites might be done and dusted by then. And you might have actually officers going forward with revisions at that period, heading into peak period, and they're going to really feel it quite hard. Where you've touched on,
trying to adjust to all this at the same time.
So there has to be a balance, and a timing has to be right for these to take place, for people to get a grip of it and learn from it without the distraction of the increased traffic, which is happening at the moment. It's a bit of a distraction to you, as you can see it, but it is something that needs to be factored in national.
There's a lot. I'm worrying about the other officers, right? I mean, yes, we've got Hexham office, we're working through it. I'm confident that we're going to get to where we want to be.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of disinformation out there. And it's quite crazy. Some of the stuff you see on this is a Royal Mail chat. You know, it just seems, all I would say to people is wait till they come into your office. Every office is going to be different. And just work through it. You know, don't listen to all this noise out there. It's not helping. It's not helping in the least bit. You know, just wait for it to come in. Embrace it. You've got your opportunity here to fix your offices as well. You know, a lot of offices have been a worse state than what we were. This could be used as an opportunity to fix your office at the same time as this new USO reform. There is hope there to do it.
Even before we started, a lot of our rural duties, we had reorganisation going on before we started this, so that going into, you know, they're doing something different on a Saturday now, it would work. And stuff that had been, like you said, kind of left and had been raised, but not much had been done about it. Actually, we had a chance to do that because everything was getting changed.
We were failing in here. We were failing daily. Duties failing. We've got this USO new way in. We're not failing. The new duties, you know, you have little tweaks here and there, but we're not failing elsewhere. So we are actually in a better state, believe it or not, than what we were before. And that's got to be a positive, you know.
Yeah, the message is quite clear, isn't it? Use this as an opportunity to get yourselves back on track where maybe you've got problems currently in your office. Use this as an opportunity to correct it, and that's a powerful message, I think, Martin. Yeah, and don't believe the negative part of social media and everything you hear. This is the horse's mouth. We're here live now, so the message is quite clear. Let's embrace it, use it, get your rep, get behind your rep, and let's just start planning to fix this office. And you've done that in a certain degree, and you've still got a lot of things to iron out, but you're getting there, and people can see that, and that's the positive, as well as the longer weekends, and hopefully.
I mean, the best asset at Royal Mills is staff. The staff know, they've got ideas on that floor to how things could work, and it's just a case of bringing it all together. We've done it here. The staff had ideas, right? That's a good idea. Let's see if we can work that in. And yeah, they've had their say. You know, and it's only been a positive thing, and that's probably why we're where we are now. And
I do think people have felt like they've been listened to this time. You know, things that people have been bringing up, they have been fixed within a reasonable amount of time. Sharing ideas and stuff that have been taken on board, and that's contributed to how positive everyone's been about it moving forward. Like, rather than just being told what they're doing, and this is it. It's felt like a team effort. Yeah.
That's refreshing, because obviously the last time there was change in the office, it was imposed through the dispute years, and we've come out of that now, and that's where the optimism should sit in terms of the new owner, these trials, and give it a chance, line in the sand, if you like, and we will hopefully the company will be in a better place, the biggest asset being the staff, and then we can push on with the quality of service, which is really important for the customer, which will help the growth. And would like to see where we are in 3-4 years' time with the new ownership of the EP Group and all offices across the country, because really what everybody is saying to me around the delivery offices are, you know, when are things going to get better? Will they ever get better? Yeah. And this is the opportunity, like you say, to make things better. So embrace it and get on with it.
Definitely. You know, that's what we've done in here, and I think it's shown. So, yeah, and I just hope, you know, every office is going to be totally different, but use it as an opportunity to right the wrongs, you know, be a great big team and work together, get it to the right place. That's all we can say, and I just hope people can. So, yeah.
Excellent, Martin. So, in terms of future training and coaching, Abby, I think as the business grows, gets new contracts, evolves, there might be things like new equipment coming through, you know, with solutions to electric vehicles. I think the new ownership are big on that. Infrastructure-wise, that could be part and parcel of it. In terms of the vehicles themselves, what do you think of the current fleet? Does there need to be an investment in electric vehicles, new vehicles, to maybe do the job more efficiently and basically, you know, save the business a few quid on these repairs? What do you think about the fleet?
I mean, I know we're a rural office, so our vans get used, like they go far, but our fleet is hammered. We have issues every day. Vans are getting taken off the road. People are having to call up and get another van taken out to them. You know, that's not sustainable either. So, you know, if that's what the new guy's promising, great.
New fleet would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was a big one for the company. It is a hot potato out there, and I know the local managers don't invest in the fleet because they can't. It's not their remit. It comes from national. So we'll hopefully the investments made for the growth. Bigger vehicles as well. Do you think bigger vehicles are needed for some routes? I mean, we spoke about Christmas as well.
Yeah, I think at the moment the size that we've got of vans is fine. It's them being able to be used, being available, being in working order.
Sometimes feel safer going on the bike.
Yeah, so we're waiting to see on that one. I thought that was an important one with Fleet, as it's on everybody's lips up and down the country in the offices.
I mean that's on display. That is on display out there every day. That reflects the business. Vans, beautiful vans. There you go. But when you've got tatty vans going out, it's not a good display for Royal Mail, is it?
No, it's not. And I think it's one of them things of shareholder profit before the service and the look at the service. And I think that's what's been the problem, certainly. But like I say, we've got a new owner now. There should be more accountability in terms of who we actually engage with as the union, and hopefully that flows through in terms of offices that need help, that maybe feel as though they've been left and not listened to. So what do you think about the potential idea of maybe bonus schemes, local bonus schemes? That's kind of one of the things that's been mentioned in the new agreement, Section 5, that we're hoping to get across the line in the next few days. As one of them things, do you think a local bonus scheme would be beneficial for somebody who works hard? The office makes a great service to the public and a great service for the business. Do you think a reward in terms of a bonus scheme would be a good idea?
Yeah, I'm all for bonus schemes. Get rid of the managers' bonuses and give it to the staff, the ones that are doing the work every day.
I think
it's all incumbent.
So, recognition is always appreciated. I think it's hard when you're, we're working as a staff team, but we're only actually together as a staff team for a couple of hours in the morning, and then we're working by ourselves outside. And customers are grateful for getting their parcels on time, but they're not going to think, I had great service today, I'm going to leave a review. Like, how do you get across to customers that feedback is important when that's what they're expecting? That's almost to them the bare minimum when people are doing a good quality service. And actually, in the office sometimes it does get lost because with everything that's been going on, people have been asked to do a lot and taking it on and just getting their heads down and getting on with it. But some people haven't had to change much at all, and I think it's hard to, quantify that and actually, if there were going to be bonuses, giving them the right people and how you go about measuring it. But it'd be great.
Yeah, it would be certainly be a positive. What we don't want and is to a bonus scheme where it's an 8-week bonus scheme and you have to meet the targets in 8 weeks. You make 7 weeks and then you lose the whole lot. I mean, that's just not a bonus scheme. Well, that's the fear what we've had in the past. What the bonus scheme should be, if you've hit your target in 1 week, that's in the pot. If you don't the next week, it's not in the pot. It's simple as that. But you do build up your pot and you try and work on that. You never lose it if you've hit it. I think that should be the driver for any effective bonus scheme for it to be worthwhile. Right, guys, I think it's been a great session. It's been absolutely fantastic feedback, certainly from Hexham and Northumberland here with Abby and Martin. Being hands-on in the workplace. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for today, Abby. Thank you very much, Martin. It's been well received, certainly from the branch, myself as the secretary. And let's try and be optimistic going forward and work on them solutions. And let's get this agreement across the line.